Hey everybody, it's Tox from Crits Happen. Thanks for watching and welcome back. Today is our second video in the Apple Arcade series. So an Apple Arcade a day keeps the doctor away, as they say. We looked at Agent Intercept the other day, and today we're going to look at a game called Cardpocalypse. This is about as 90s as you can get. It's pretty wild and pretty cool. So as you can tell from some of the audio you may hear in the background, it's just it gives me that Stranger Things vibe to it. But let's talk a little bit before we jump into the game about Apple Arcade. So what is Apple Arcade? Apple Arcade is new to iOS. It is a $4.99 a month subscription service where your first 30 days are free. The games that you get access to, very similar to like an Xbox Game Pass, you get a bunch of games that you get access to, but the games all are ad-free. And they're all freemium / microtransaction free. So it is a pay your $4.99 a month and play to your heart's content. And so far it's pretty cool, I have to admit. I have, I think, 17 games downloaded from Apple Arcade so far. This is going to be the second one we're going to look at. This game, Cardpocalypse, is so daringly cool and awesome. It's familiar, but it's new. It's stuff that you know, but it's not. And I really, really like it. I'm really happy with it so far. At the core, this game is very much like Hearthstone. The whole concept of it, though, is that you play this main character, Jess, who I want to give a big shout out to the developers. Jess is in a wheelchair, as you see, but they didn't make it out to be this huge thing because the whole concept is Jess is new at school. And there's a bit of an RPG element where Jess is meeting all these characters, finding all these quests, going on all these objectives to better the deck. And that's what this is all about, is this game Power Pets. There's this game Power Pets that all the kids at school are obsessed with. Just absolutely, you have to play this game, like to the point of like telling off teachers just so they can get out of class and get in trouble to go to the principal's office and sit in a chair next to the principal's like door and play this game with other kids, which is really kind of funny and kind of cool. It is very much a Hearthstone style game, but I think it's very cool that they didn't make the crux of the entire RPG story element about Jess being in a wheelchair. It just is not a big deal, and I'm a very big believer that it's not a big deal until you make it a big deal. And the fact that Jess is just like all the other kids and that there's no kids that point out anything, drastically negatively or insensitively about the wheelchair, I think is really cool so far. And I really like that. Inclusivity is an important thing. Representation is an important thing. So I really want to applaud the developers for that. So here you can see we're playing a game of Power Pets. Each deck has a hero, and each hero has two sides to it. One that they start on, and then one that they transform into after they have 15 or less health. All of the heroes have the same health, so that's a little different. Like with Hearthstone and other games, you have variable health, but their powers are different. Some of them improve their blockers or the defenders, like this one does. Precious gives you more health to your blockers. There's some that give you better attacks. There's some that make their characters lethal, which is really cool, where like if you have this keyword lethal, you can automatically kill anything that you go against, except for the hero, of course. But that is pretty cool and pretty slick, I think. It's a very cartoony style to it, but it works really well. All of the motions are really, really good. All of the kind of the animations and the thematic or the mechanics are really, really good. They have this thing where you play a card face down. You see these mutations, the tentacles on the right-hand side. All the mutations cost 1. They go face down, and then they trigger. So there's a trigger. Like this one says, when one of your minions destroys an enemy minion and survives, then do X. And that's really cool. You can look at your own mutations whenever you want. They call it food, I think, is the cost, not like mana or anything like that. You see little dog dishes or cat dishes at the top and the bottom that say 5 of 6 or 0 of 6. That's how much resource you have, or food in this case, to be able to play your cards and put them out on the table. I have yet to find a difference as to what it means having your characters on the left or the right side of your hero. I don't think that matters at all. I think that's just an aesthetic thing and what you may like or what you may want. But it is very controlling, or very much like Hearthstone, in the sense of you're going to pick where you're going to attack, you're going to pick who's going to attack who. It's pretty familiar in that sense. But the role-playing aspect of it brings a little more to it. It's not just a Hearthstone game where you're going through, clicking play, finding an opponent, and playing this game. You're playing this game, and you're doing it through the guidelines of the story that Jess is kind of traversing through. And Jess will meet all types of characters. Jess, the very second game that I played, Jess found a character and found a person and wanted to play them. They started playing, and Jess got annihilated. Like, absolutely, like, I lost. There was and it was almost one of those things where I felt like there's no way I'm going to be able to win. And I kind of like that. I don't like games that teach you the game by just letting you breeze through and destroy all of your opponents. I like games that give you a challenge and make you want to come back. So here's an element of the RPG side. You can see we've won this challenge, and now we're going to get a reward for it. And we're going to select one of the two cards, and they're going to go into our binder. And then, of course, like any good CCG/TCG, you can edit your decks with all the cards from your binders. There's cards that will only work with certain heroes, and there are based on factions. And there are generic cards. So you see those gray ones are generic, and they can go anywhere you'd like. It's very easy to edit your deck. If there was any complaint that I have, is that on an iPhone, it is a little tight and tiny to do it on your iPhone, but it does work. And just with some practice and understanding of the movements of swiping and shifting back and forth, all works out. And then Jess can go around and have conversations with other classmates, run into other adventures that may come up, and those adventures may just teach you more about the game, or they may give you opportunities to get new items or new cards for your decks. And the progression seems fairly balanced. I don't know if balance is the right word necessarily. The progression seems very paced. That's probably a good way to describe it. You can move around and interact with so many different characters. You can save the game from exactly where you are. Now, the big question, and I know that a lot of people are going to ask this one, but the big question is, what about online play? How does this game work? Because a CCG or a TCG really should be kind of online play. And that's probably the most interesting thing about this one. Now, mind you, the Apple Arcade series of videos here we're doing, this is not games that I have spent 40, 60, 80 hours playing. These are games that I have spent a couple hours playing to check out and kind of giving you a first impression and a first look at it. When you load the menu on the base game, you only have the option for loading a game or creating a new game, or saving your game from where you're at. Have not been able to find anything out yet as to if there is online capabilities to play against another opponent. Now, that said, like I talked about earlier, there's some pretty challenging AI battles. And there are battles that I have found that I have had to play 3, 4, or 5 times to find the answer that will beat that deck, which is kind of cool. The AI seems pretty good. There's some mistakes it makes, and there's some things that I look at and go, well, are they making that choice because I don't understand the rules fully yet, or are they making that choice because they're seeing something that I'm not seeing? But I haven't felt as though this game is just breezing through all of your opponents. I have felt challenged at many times. And quite frankly, it's kind of nice to just have a TCG where I don't have to worry about somebody else going out and having bought like $500 worth of cards and has better cards than I do. This is a environment in which you can play a TCG without having that fear, and you're really just playing against the computer. So one of the things that I thought about is that this is a great opportunity as a TCG or CCG app to introduce younger players into the game. It's very comical. It's very tongue-in-cheek. There's some times where, teachers will talk to Jess, and Jess has the option of replying sarcastically, like, "What? Who are you?" Or being respectful. So there's some cute little kind of story dialogue that you can get into, which is kind of fun. And I think younger players would enjoy that. As you can see here, I just got crushed by this kid who said, Angelo's like, "Oh, I never win. I never win." Oh, and then here's, boom, a crushing from everything that you have. So, and it takes that and it adds to the story, which is kind of cool. So I've been really happy with this one. I have to give a shout out. Suze Shildon was the person that recommended this game for me to check out on Apple Arcade. And as usual, 90% of all the games I have on my phone are from Suze and her recommendations. We align very much on games. So I was very happy to check this out and see all the different things that are inside of it. The art style is very unique. It's very different, something that, I could see turning off some people. But I think the gameplay is very good. I think that the stories are very fun. I think that the accessibility is very good. Online play could help, but I think that may not be a thing from the developer. It may be that the developer wants this to be a TCG without the fear of facing people that you're just going to sit down against and lose. And I think that that's pretty cool. So that is Cardpocalypse. I would love to get your thoughts. Of course, if you're in Apple Arcade playing these games, what do you think? Do you like it? Do you not like it? What do you like about it? What do you not like about it? If you are just seeing this for the first time, what's your thoughts? What's your feedback? Would love to hear from you. The plan is to do more of these videos. The plan is to get more Apple Arcade games played over the 30-day free trial and let you know at the end what I think. Is it worth the $4.99 or not worth the $4.99? So far, I have to say yes. I think it's pretty worth the $4.99. I actually played Agent Intercept before I went to bed last night a couple of times and played this a couple of times. There's also some really cool games that I'm looking forward to bringing you over the next couple of days and weeks. So let us know. Leave a comment below on the YouTube channel. Of course, you can chime in on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram by searching Crits Happen. But until we see you next time, we hope that you enjoy all your Power Pet mutation times inside of Cardpocalypse, along with the wicked, awesome metal theme song at the beginning of the game. Thanks so much for watching. Keep rolling those dice, and we hope they're all crits. Thank you.